Good afternoon, everyone. I'm KTIV Chief Meteorologist Ron DeMars. We're tracking a severe thunderstorm right now that is in the southwestern part of Buena Vista County. This tornado warning has been in effect and goes until 2:15. I have this on looping radar right now so we can see about the last hour of activity. And I'm happy to say that it looks like the thunderstorm is pulsing down right now. These things have cycles. Sometimes they are strengthening, sometimes they are weakening. So right now we are seeing some weakening in this, and you can see exactly where this warning is for. So if you live in the Storm Lake vicinity, you should be going ahead and taking shelter immediately. Now, they issued the tornado warning based on some Doppler radar indicated rotation that they are seeing right now. So we're going to put this into just the mode where we can take a look, what we call the velocity scope, as a matter of fact. And you can see, by the way, across the KTIV viewing area, these are the main storms that we're dealing with just in the eastern parts of the area. That's why there's a tornado watch out this way, just because some of these storms are going to bubble up during the afternoon hours here this afternoon. So here's our velocity scope. This is where we're looking for those red and green areas to come together. And you can see that we are seeing a little bit of that taking place just off to the southeast of Storm Lake. So that is the radar indication that the National Weather Service is using to go ahead and issue that tornado warning from. And again, that tornado warning for southwestern Buena Vista County does go until 2:15. Elizabeth Breen has been tracking this as well. And Elizabeth, you were telling me how just a little bit ago, because I just came in, I was at my daughter's tennis meet, and you were saying how they had seen maybe a couple quick touchdowns, right?
Yeah, as of most recently, there was a spotter that says there was a touchdown just 4 miles southwest of Storm Lake. It was very brief, only a couple of seconds, as well as in Buena Vista County. They did report one 7 miles south of Alta, just a brief 30-second touchdown in an open field. But yes, like Ron was mentioning, that does go until 2:15 this afternoon, and some locations that also could be affected are Lakeside and Storm Lake.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, again, we're taking a look at what we're seeing here right now on Storm Track 4. And you can see that cell basically right over Storm Lake. Storm Lake, you're probably getting in on a pretty good downpour right now. But again, I'm going to go ahead and loop this. And you can see how much stronger this was just not very long ago. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take control of that loop right here. I'm going back right here. This is 1:30, for example. When this thing was just to the west of Nemaha, right on Highway 71 there, you can see how strong it was at that time. It was staying pretty strong. Now, I'm going ahead in time, as you can see. We're up to 1:49 p.m. there with this thing just south of Storm Lake. Now, as it has entered Storm Lake, notice how those colors are not quite as deep of orange and red. So that's an indication this thunderstorm is weakening a little bit right now. That doesn't mean there still can't be some rotation going on, and we are still seeing that on our velocity scope, as a matter of fact. That red and the green coming together, that's always the areas that I'm interested in watching when we see this kind of a thing. So just to the west of Highway 71, that is kind of the area close to Storm Lake. So again, anytime you have a tornado warning like this in your area, and Storm Lake, you are in this, as a matter of fact, we just saw a new scan come in. Did you notice how that changed there? And once again, we're seeing a decrease in the intensity of the rotation. I'm going to go back in time just a little bit here. You see those reds and greens kind of coming together, and now how it's not quite as good right now. So that's kind of a good indication as well that hopefully this thing is weakening a little bit just off to the west of Highway 71, very close to the Storm Lake, Iowa area now. And again, anytime you're under a tornado warning, hopefully we know what to do. We're still early in the year here. We're still in the month of May, but always remember that is the good time that you want to take cover. You're always heading to the lowest level of your home. Hopefully that's a basement. Basement is always the best place that you can be. If you don't have a basement, I always tell kids when I'm at schools, don't go running to upstairs bedrooms. That's what you don't want to do. You always want to make sure you stay on the lowest level possible, get into a good area that you're going to stay as safe as possible away from windows, and you try to basically avoid any debris that would be blowing around potentially if anything was touching down. So that's what we have going on this afternoon. Elizabeth, I know the tornado watch, how long does that tornado watch go for?
That tornado watch will be in effect until 7 p.m. this evening, Ron.
The tornado watch goes until 7 p.m., and that includes a lot of the eastern parts of the KTIV viewing area. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put this on right here. So there's that tornado watch that we were just talking about in the eastern parts of the KTIV viewing area. I tell you what, we had a lot of rotations yesterday, some tornado touchdowns in east central Nebraska, as well as northeast Nebraska even as well in the KTIV viewing area. This looking like not quite as strong a setup certainly as what we were seeing yesterday. We had that big enhanced risk yesterday going for a while, and then all those cells were able to develop. You can tell that so far these are not looking quite as strong, and there's going to be a good number of them farther off to the east. Same upper level low pressure system that we have been dealing with for the last few days. That's why we've had so many chances of rain in the forecast as of late. But nevertheless, with any of these cells that do develop, and you might be able to see them, let's go ahead and take our Lakeview cam, as a matter of fact, if we could. That's Vedestra Channel 4 that we have, our Lakeview cam, showing the bubbling up of those clouds. So from a distance, these kinds of cumulonimbus clouds, they actually can look very, very pretty. But I tell you what, once you're underneath them, that's when it gets very, very dark, and that's where they can become dangerous, obviously, especially when you have situations like this with a tornado warning in progress. So great view from our Lakeview cam there to kind of give us an idea of what is going on there. So let's go ahead one more time. We'll hit Storm Track 4. The weakening does continue, so I think we're going to be sending it back to programming here as we readjust, and I would doubt that they would continue with this warning after 2:15, but obviously if they do, we'll be right back on the air. But there it is. There is Storm Track 4. There is the tornado warning for southwestern Buena Vista County. That goes until 2:15. And again, once we stop the radar from looping, I can do the velocity scope. We take a look at that, and we're not seeing nearly as much of the red and green that we were together. So hopefully that's a very good sign, and that's the reason for now. We're going to go ahead and send you back to programming, but obviously we'll keep a close eye on these cells with that tornado watch still in effect, and we'll keep you updated throughout the afternoon.